Okay, so let me try and connect back. Okay, so let's connect back. Let's connect back and start. Gonna wait. Okay. Okay, I think our network is back. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please, can we hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, my data finished and my stuff just went off, so I have to check it back and I recharged now so I can connect. Sorry for the mixed up. I'm gonna share back my screen. Um, okay, share. Please, anytime there is a network failure or power outage and I have to go out, I normally communicate on the WhatsApp group. So please, if you're not on the WhatsApp group, get there so that you can know what is happening. So if I suddenly go off, you have to know that I suddenly went off, okay? So that you wait for me to join back. So I'm putting the link for the WhatsApp group on the chart. So check the message, you'll see the WhatsApp group link so that if you're not yet there, you can join up. Uh, in the WhatsApp group, that's us. If you have any questions you want to ask me, you can easily ask me there. We'll answer so that we don't delay the class. So please confirm if you can see my VS Code. Please, can we see my VS Code? Please let me know when you can see my VS Code. Okay, Olalekon is confirming that you can see my VS Code. Okay, so let's continue. So we said that this is what we call uh, arrays of objects. In an array, we have objects instead of just having single strings or numbers. We have objects. in an array. So you can see we have 3 objects inside this array, and like I told you, this is going to be how you're going to be having your data structured whenever you want to send it to the database. So these arrays of objects, we can actually look through and get the different values. And if you want to get the value of this text here that says learning HTML, we can get it. So that is what we're going to try to do. Then after that, we're going to use what we call JSON .stringify to convert these very arrays of objects into JSON. And JSON, like I said, is a JavaScript object notation. That is the format that data is being passed from one application to the other. So when you do your REST API, you're going to be making sure that you let out your data in JSON format. And that is why this is very, very important. Also, when you get the data back in JSON, you should be able to convert it to these arrays of objects so that you can easily manipulate it in JavaScript. Okay, so let's look at how we can the things we can do to these arrays of objects. Let's look at what we can do. So we can get a specific object value. Let's say this object number 2 want to get this value of studying CSS. How do we do that? How do we do that? How do we get a specific object value? How do we do that? Okay, so I'm gonna say console.log so that we can see what we are doing. Okay, so once I say console.log, then inside here I'm gonna say first of all the name of the object, the name of the mother object, the main object, and you know we called it task. So I'm gonna say task first. Then now inside task, what task is an array. So and whenever you want to pick a very particular position, you have to indicate by the square bracket. So now, which one do I want, the zeroth array, the zeroth element, or the 1 element, or the second element? This is the one I want to pick. So it has to be in position of index 1. That is the position of this object. Okay. Then once I picked it, that means I'm already here inside this task. Okay, let me scroll this up so that you see what I'm saying. So this is the task. But at what object position am I, here or here or here? I'm already here because I indicated 1. If I had said 0, I would have been here. If I have said 2, I would have been here. So at this point, what do I want to get the value? I simply want to get the value of the task text. Okay, so the value of this task text, okay, for which object? For the object at index 1, which is this. So I'm going to get this studying CSS. So if I save this now, then I come down here and run it, then I should be able to see studying CSS. Okay, you can see studying CSS, you can see it here. So what if I had said I had used 0 here? If I had used 0, I would see learning HTML. So let me save this. Instead of studying CSS, I should now see learning HTML. You can see that. So that is how you can get this. So what if I say 3? I'll see. I'm gonna get implementing JavaScript. Okay. Oh, there is an error. Okay, there is no 3 because this is at index 2. So take note. So you know that arrays are 0-based indexing. So it starts from 0 up. So you can see implementing JavaScript. What if I come here, instead of having task text, if I had completed? So I should either see true or false. But for the at index 2, which is this one, the value of completed is false. So I'm supposed to see false as the answer there. So if I come here now and I run this, you can see false. So that is how you can pick out any value from your arrays of objects. Very, very important, because this is the kinds of manipulation that you're going to be doing in advanced stages of your JavaScript. So that is very, very important. Now, very importantly, we need to convert this to JSON, and like I said, JSON format is the data format that you use to transport data from one API to the application where it is used. So when you're building your REST APIs, then it has to be in JSON. So let's see how we can format this very array of objects to JSON. Need to format it to JSON. So what do you use for that? What is the code for that? Simply say JSON dot stringify. So you see, immediately I type dot, my editor is able to write stringify for me. JSON dot stringify. Then that is how you convert. Then what are you converting? What do you want to convert? I want to convert my arrays of object name as task. So this very array of objects is going to be converted to JSON. So that is how you convert, by using the method JSON.stringify. But we want to see this when we convert it. So let's console.log it so that we can see it when we convert it. I want to be able to see it. So I'm going to simply say console.log. Okay. So if I save this now, let's look at how JSON format looks like. Okay. So please, I want you to study how this tax is looking like. You're going to compare it with this when it is converted to JSON format. So I want you to observe what is going to happen now. Okay, so you can see that this is the same thing as what we have here. It's still same array that we have, but when you come into objects that is JSON, the ID here now, there are no quotes around it, but here there are quotes now. So the tax text, with the tax text, there are no quotes, but here there are quotes around them. So, and everything is always in double quotes in JSON. So this is what we call JSON format. This is the format that your data will be in when it's leaving or entering your API. So it is very, very important. You can see everything has double quotes. The only things that don't have quotes is when you have number or when you have true or false. Those are things that don't have quotes. But every other thing in JSON must have double quotes. So that is how you know that a data is in JSON format. So if you want to consume a REST API, you're going to always find out that the data are always in this form, in this JSON format. And this is the best format to communicate with your database. Okay. So this is very, very important that you know about this. And the way to get it is by saying JSON.stringify. Very, very important. Then you put the array of object that you're looking that you want to convert to JSON. So this is what we call JSON, and I said JSON simply stands for JavaScript Object Notation. You can see J for JavaScript, JS is Java, then S is script, JavaScript, ON Object Notation. Okay, and this is how you can stringify. You're trying to turn these normal arrays of objects into a JSON string. Okay, so that is that for that, and I think I would like to take a little question before we see whether we are getting to loops and conditionals today. I don't know whether we'll be able to do that today. Let me see whether I can take some questions. Can I? Anybody with has it been clear, or is there any issues? Kenwumi, any issues? Chidima, any issues? Any issues? Okay, Chidima. You said?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I said actually confused. Like lost. I don't really understand this tax sets we are doing, this ID part. I don't really understand what we are doing here.
Okay. The text. Okay. So we are trying to collect information. Let's say now that you have something like things tax you want to achieve. So, and these tax are three of them. So the number one tax you want to achieve is you want to learn HTML, then you want to study CSS, you also want to implement JavaScript. Okay, so each of these tasks, you want to know whether you've completed learning them or not. So that's why we have the task that simply says what you want to do, whereas completed is asking whether you are actually done with it. Then in order for you to represent it very well, because there are like three tasks, you need an ID. Just like if you want to write three people's name. So if you draw a table, you're going to have serial number that represent the numbers of them, 1, 2, 3. Then you have their names. Then you're going to have whether paid, true or false, whether they paid or not. So that same way, you want to have three tasks you want to achieve. And whenever you're collecting records, records are always in this form. So let's say you want to collect records of people in your class. They're going to have their matric numbers. So this is like their matric number. This tax text is like their name. Then whether they pay school fees is like this completed. So that is how you collect data. So these tags represent data for different people or for different kinds of data. So it's always going to have columns and the values. So these are the columns and these are the values. And you find out that when you go into learning programming, you're going to be having tables that have records. So exactly how it is structured and different values from uh, these arrays of objects. And that is what we demonstrated when we did this. Then I said now when you now have these data in form of arrays and of objects, that there is this one single format where it is very understandable for different applications, especially when they have to talk to themselves. And this format is what we call JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. So it's always good whenever you have your array of object that you convert it to JSON. And the way to convert it by using the keyword or the function json.stringify, then you put the arrays of object, the variable name of the arrays of object inside here. Once you do that, it will convert it to JSON. So if you console.log it to see it, that is what you're seeing here. And we say that in JSON, all the keys are enclosed in double quotes. Even the values are also enclosed in double quotes, apart from true or false or numbers. Okay, so Chidima, does it make any sense now? Though,
Yeah, I'm trying to follow up.
okay,
I'm
okay.
trying to follow up, but I think I'll just watch the video from scratch to understand what's going
Yeah,
on.
you started it. You
And
joined
well,
late
I
today.
don't know.
I don't know. You used
Yes,
to always join very early. I don't know why you joined late today. But you're
I
gonna,
got home late.
oh, sorry. You're gonna understand the arrays of objects much better when we go further into the classes, when we start applying it.
Okay, sir. So another thing is I'm still having an issue with the terminal stuff.
Okay. So,
I'm still having an issue with the terminal stuff, trying to run it in my phone. What I'm using is I'm basically using Google Chrome developer to be able to check my console log
okay, can you
because
share your
it's
screen?
still
Can you,
showing me in my settings on JSON. Oh, I'm working on my laptop. My Zoom is on my phone. My Google Meet is on my phone.
but okay, it's on your
So I
phone.
can't really
Then,
share.
do you have internet on
Yes.
your
Oh, wait.
laptop?
Okay. Let me just this. Maybe you can consider. Let me connect with my
Yeah, connect with
laptop.
your laptop so that we can look at it together.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so while we wait for Chidima to
Let me
connect so that
quickly
we
do
can
that.
look at problems, let's look at loops. Let's look at loops. Very important. Loops. One, we want to do iteration. When we want to do the same thing to different values. Say in an array, we can use loops. And the most important loop, which you're going to be using every day, is known as the for loop. The for loop. So what is the structure of the for loop? Let's look at the structure of the for loop. So this is how the for loop is arranged. This is the syntax for the for loop. You simply say for, That's the keyword for. Then inside the bracket, you're gonna say declare a variable. Say let I. That is what it's normally used. Let I to be equal to the starting point. Very, very important. The starting point. Okay, we're gonna start with 0 for now, but we're gonna change it at some point. So the starting point, that's what you initialize first. Now you give your condition. This I shouldn't be more than 10. It should be less than 10. Then you also put your separator, which is semicolon. Then I, you increment it so that it knows that after doing 0, it's going to do 1 because you're adding by 1. Then it's going to do 2. It's going to do 3. But it's not going to go past 10. So it's starting from 0. Then the limit is 10. Then the increment is just 1, 1. Okay. That means you should do the same thing to the following number 0, 1, 2, 3 to 9. But after doing to 0, the next one you should do is 1. After doing to 1, the next one you should do to is 2 because you're just incrementing by 1. That is what this increment is saying. Okay, so that is the first thing you say. You write whenever you're writing your for. That is the structure. Then you now, for this condition, what do you want to happen? So you open up a curly bracket and you tell us what you want to happen. So we simply want to console.log. So what do you want to console.log? We simply want to console.log I. Okay, so if I save this, so you can see it's gonna do I, it's gonna assume that I is 0, then after it's gonna assume that it is 1, so it's gonna console.log all of them. So if I save this now and I come down here and I run this, so you can see 1 to 9, 1, 2, 3, 0 to 9, I mean. So if I scroll up so that you can see 0 to 9. Why? Because we started, the initial is 0 here and it's less than 10, simply 9. 9 is the number that is less than 10. If you write less than or equal to, then it's going to get up to 10. So if I save this now and I come back and run, then instead of stopping at 9, then it will get up to 10. So you can see it's now at 10. Now if you don't want to start from 0, you want to start from 5. So you can put 5 here as your lower limit. If you run again, then it's not going to start from 0. You can see that it is starting from 5. If I scroll up small, you can see 5 is where it's starting. So depending on this, the lower limit, and what will be here will be the higher limit. And this is the increment, how you want it to be going. Okay, so here contains the condition, and here is what you want to be happening. Okay, even if you don't want just I to have to come out, if you want it to say loop 1. So let's say I want to say loop 1, loop 2, and blah blah blah. So I can actually use a string literal to start this. So I can simply say loop. Okay, so once I say loop, I can come out here and then you can put any string you want inside here actually. So, and if you want to now bring your variable, make sure you now use the dollar sign. If you want to use object literal, so please use the dollar sign, then use the curly brackets. So we did this when we did concatenation. And remember to close your what's it called, the backticks. Okay, so if I save this now, I should be having loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, loop 4, blah blah blah. Okay, you can see loop 1, loop 2, loop up to loop 10. So anything you put here can actually happen. So you can say this is, and when we say loop, loop simply means iteration. So you want to do the same thing for repeatedly for other things. So you don't want to do it for just 5. You want to do it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you must declare the range here. Then that action that is done for 1, say I at 5, I at 6, I at 7, I at 8. So you want it to be repeated over all of them. And this is also how you can easily output. If somebody tell you to output numbers 1 to 20, this is how you can do it. So you can simply 1 to 20, that means lower limit is 1, then higher the boundary here is going to be 20, and you're incrementing by 1 1. Okay, so this is 1 to 20, so I can easily come here and take this out. So 1 to 20, that's what I want. So if I save and I come down here and run, so you can see 1 to 20 is being attributed on the console. Okay, so that is how, if I tell you now, if I give you an assignment, I want you to write 1 to 20 using a simple JavaScript snippet. The best way to do that is by using the for loop. So use the for loop. Then we'll have another loop known as the while loop. So this while loop is similar to the for loop. It's just very similar. And you're going to find out that you'll be using mostly for loop and not the while loop. But it's also very important that you know, because you can also see it. So in while loop, you have to first of all declare your initial value, uh, having your what's it called, your variable, your temporary variable. You have to declare it up. So assign it the lower boundary. So do that first. It's unlike the loop that everything has to be inside this bracket and is separated with semicolons. For this one, you just have to declare it on top. Then immediately after declaring it, that's when you now use the keyword while. So you now put the boundary condition, and the boundary here is I equal to or less than or equal to or anything you want. So I will still say less than or equal to 10, because I don't want it to be more than 10. So take note of the structure, how it is done. Then after that, you are now gonna say what you want to be happening. So once this condition is still there, this iteration, what do I do in the iteration? So I'm gonna say console.log, and I'm gonna put console.log. What do I want to console.log? Okay, let me just console.log I think that should be okay. Then the increment you now put down. This is where you put the increment. So you have to just take note of how this is structured, because the structure is what differentiates this from the other one. But they're also gonna do the same function. So you can see it's still attributing 0 to 10. So you can either use the while loop or you use the for loop. So you either use the while loop or you use the for loop. Very, very important. So you can use any of them. Now, another thing we are going to look at is you can use the easiest way to look through arrays is by using the for loop. So if you have an array and you want to output the array, you can easily use the for loop to output your array. Then there is another variation of the for loop which is mostly used for arrays. So we call it the for of. So let's look at this for of loop. It's very, very important. Let's try to use it and look through our array. So let's say we say for, then in brackets, this is how it is structured. You simply say let. So we have task. That's the name of our array. So let's go up so that we can see it. This is our array task. Okay. So let's declare a temporary variable named tk. Somebody wants to join. Sorry, let me go receive the person. Ifoluwa, how are you? It's been a long time. So let's use tk as the temporary name of the variable. Then so we say let tk off. Then the name of the array. So what's the name of our array? Task. Okay, let's tk off task. So that is how you build that out. So you're calling all these tasks. Tax 1 is tk at a moment, tax 2 is tk at a moment, tax 3 is also tk at some point. Okay, but what do you want to do to them as you're getting them? So I want to simply console.log, and what do I want to Or do I want to console out? I just simply want to console tax dot. So let me get their. So what I actually want to do, I want to go through all of them and output their task tests, each of them. You know there are three task tests there. So let me try to output the three of them. So you can use for up to loop through. You want to go through all these tags, different objects in this array. You can see that all of them have tags text. So I want to loop through iteration. That's what you use loop for. I want to get out learning HTML, studying CSS, and implementing JavaScript, the three of them. So that is what I want. That's why I wrote that code. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to run it. Okay, saying undefined, there's a mistake somewhere. Tax text, tax dot tax text. Okay, so let's see. Um, why is this saying undefined? Tax dot tax text console dot log tax dot task. Okay, for let tk of task, for let tk of tax. Okay, please, it has to be tk. That is the temporary variable name. Okay, so if I run this again now, okay, you can see learning HTML, studying CSS, and implementing JavaScript. So it had gone through all of them. So for each of them, is outputting the tax text. So you can also output the IDs. So if I say IDs, and you know that the IDs are 1, 2, 3. So if I run now, you can see 1, 2, 3. Okay. You can also output the completed. Okay, if I save, I'm gonna see true, true, and false. Okay, you can see true, true, and false. Okay, so you can actually get out anything you want. So let me return it back to task test. Okay, if I save now and I come down here, I'll see that. Okay, so those are the that is a different variation of the for loop. Very, very important that you take note of that. Okay, so with that, I think done justice to today. So Ifolua, how are you? Chidima, are you connected? Yeah, Ifolua, how are you?
I'm connected.
Good. So some of you did not do your assignment. Please, I will expect you to quickly do it and submit. And assignments are very, very important. Will be helping you to learn. So this is the part of the assignment that somebody submitted. So these are the math property and methods, and also the math operators. You're going to be using them a whole lot. When you start learning algorithms, they will be very, very useful to you to easily manipulate the different steps in the process of solving a problem. So please make sure you get to know them. Okay, so today we're able to look at the for while loop and how to convert an array of objects to JSON by using JSON.stringify. We looked at objects and we saw that an object can actually contain arrays as well as other objects, and we looked at different ways we can actually get out the values of the properties of these objects. Okay, these are very, very important concepts and you need to understand them while we move forward. Okay, so Chidima, can we take your question now before we continue? Can you share your screen now? Chidima, are you there? Chidima, are you there? Okay, so you are presenting to everyone. Chidima is still there. Okay, yeah. She's trying to share her screen. Okay. You can unmute yourself so that I can hear you now. Chidima, Chidima, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Let me unmute.
You say?
I said that. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Chidima.
Okay, so I'm sharing my
Yeah, let me
screen.
stop sharing mine because I can already see your own screen. Let me share your own screen so that other people can see your screen. Um, Let me share it a tab. I think this will let you take over from here to Chidima. Okay, Chidima, I'm gonna do something so that I want to be sharing my screen while you share so that they can be seeing you. Okay, okay. So I'm sharing now. Chidima, are you still there? Chidima, are you there? I don't know why I find it difficult here. I can't hear you. But reshare your screen now. Do as if you stopped sharing your screen and reshare it again so that we can now see. Because I want everybody in the class to be seeing your screen so that we can solve your problem together. Chidima, can you stop sharing your screen first? Then you now share it again. I can't hear what you're saying. I can see that you're talking, but I cannot hear it. Maybe um I wouldn't know why that is the case. Chidima, I cannot hear you. If you can hear me, I say you should stop sharing. Click on stop sharing your screen, then you share it back again. If you want to communicate to me, you can also type it out in the text message since I can hear you. Okay. Chidima, are you there? Are you there? Hello, Chidima, are you there? Can you type in the message section if you can't hear me? I'm trying to hear you, but I can't hear you. Hello? And I can see you're talking. Please, is any other person here? Can any other person hear me? Let me know whether it's from my side. I think the sharing is giving an audio interference. Okay. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Chamakaka. Okay. 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 That's true. Chidima, I can hear you now. Chidima,
Yes, I can hear you.
are you sharing your screen? You're not sharing. Are you?
Yes.
Okay. You're sharing your screen now, bro.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Like
yes. Yes.
when I copy.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So Chidima, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I
So
can hear you.
I can already see the problem with your this thing. Please, can you get to can you see that bracket before the code I gave you? There has to be a comma there.
Okay.
There has to be a comma.
Yeah.
Just there, yeah. Put a comma there. Good. So save now. I think it should work now. You see, coding is very, very discreet. You have to be careful with commas and everything. So when you save now, you can just close your VS Code, open it up again, then try bringing it out. I think it should work.
Okay, I've gone back to VS Code. It's saying no such file. Okay. Let me do a new terminal.
Yeah. So I think it's working now. So you just have to be careful now with the files you run. But the terminal is already okay now.
But it's still not giving me any response yet.
No, it's
Like
is
I thought the console would log out.
it thought the what?
This console, my console log will show on my terminal.
That's what is that not what I'm seeing down there?
It's not no, it's just showing terminated, so it's integrated shell
Can you share
Windows,
your
then
screen very well?
some.
Can you stop sharing and share back?
Okay.
Click on there's one stop sharing down there, then click on share again so that I can see it
Yes.
much better. Okay, I think it's because I opened this message. Let me close it up. Okay. Yeah, so try and share now. Let me see.
Alright, I'm sharing now.
Okay. Okay.
So this
Okay, this is what it's giving you now. Okay, it's even saying bash and it's saying okay, that's it. So I think it's okay now. Close this your VS Code,
I
open it
like
up
what
again fresh. Did you hear what I said?
I should just sorry.
You don't paste your code down in the that place you just pasted it. It's not
I
right.
tried to
Just press your backspace. Chidima, can you hear me?
this
Press backspace to remove that
to
last curly
delete it
bracket.
and retype it.
No, 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 no. Don't do all those things. Forget all those things you're doing now. Just get to your terminal.
Okay.
Click into your terminal. Click into your no, no, not there. The hand. The hand. Press your backspace now to remove that.
Okay.
Good. Now type node space space good main.js.
Okay.
Good. Then press the enter key.
I've done that.
Yeah. Okay. So your code is what your terminal is working very well now. Okay. So now go to your code now and make sure you've written it, write it well. Then you come back and run it. It's working perfectly now. Your terminal is working okay. So you can correct your code now. Then go back again and run it again.
Still saying still saying um, syntax error.
Yeah, you have a syntax error. You unexpected token this, and is that your for loop? This your for loop is not okay.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. I'll watch the
Yeah,
video to understand
yeah. Just
the
watch the video
process.
now. I think everything is perfect now. Your terminal is working fine now. So your code serve
Thank you very
errors.
much.
Okay, you can also see. I think Blessing is trying to help you on the chat. He's also telling you